Many authors out there think that AI is just for writing faster. But what if you were to try having AI be your developmental editor? In this episode, I'm going to share the AI strategy that helped me identify huge weaknesses in my own book draft and how you can use it too to make your book even better and identify the blind spots that you have. Because sometimes we're so in it, we forget what our readers are most likely going to pay attention to, what is useful, and what isn't useful. Stay tuned for this exciting episode on AI and developmental editing. This is Your Path to Publish. I'm your host, Zach Christensen. For the past decade, our team has guided authors just like you to find the best path to publish your book, get people excited to buy it even before it launches, and to turn it into the ultimate business card to build your business and your legacy. If you are ready to get your book out of your head and into people's hands, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Okay, so as mentioned today, we are going to go into how to use AI not to write your book for you, but to give you developmental feedback. Think of it like having a sharp-eyed editor on call 24/7. So we're going to cover what makes a good prompt, how to be clear with AI, why your audience details matter, and how to implement this feedback without feeling overwhelmed. Because trust me, that can happen quite easily. And I'll share my own experience using AI as my developmental editor, the good and the bad. When I had finished the draft of my own book, I had thought there was one chapter that was solid, that I would not need to go back and make many edits to it. I was proud of it. Then I ran it through an AI prompt for developmental feedback, and the AI flagged something I completely missed. My examples were heavy on strategy, but light on real-world stories. And this was somewhat of a wake-up call, you could say, and it was one of those moments where you think, oh, yeah, that's funny. I didn't realize that I had been so focused on ideas that I forgot about how to connect with the readers and how to bridge the gap from what I know to the page to making a connection to them where they could really apply what they were learning from reading my book and address their challenge. What AI reminded me of is that chapter was not just for writing about the subject, but for giving the reader practical tools that they can use in their own writing and author journey. And that's the power here. AI didn't replace my vision, but it highlighted the gaps that I did not see or had forgotten about. Now, as you dive into this, with AI as your developmental editor, whether you're self-publishing, traditionally publishing, or hybrid publishing, here's the first lesson. A lot of frustration with AI comes from bad prompts. Yes, that may sound like old news. Old news, you need good prompts, you need to structure it right, but it's a good reminder. Think of your prompts as the job description for your editor. If you just say something like, give me feedback on this book or this chapter, you most likely get something generic that could be somewhat helpful, but also have you go down a rabbit hole and could completely change the structure or chapter of your book, and it will not turn out how you want it to be. But if you say, act as a developmental editor, review this chapter for clarity, flow, and whether the examples are relatable to a business audience of mid-career professionals. All of a sudden, you've given AI a clear role and perspective. The clearer you are in your prompts or how you're going to direct and provide guardrails for AI, the more valuable the feedback will be. And to enhance that even further, you want AI to give you feedback that's specific to the audience that you are targeting. So instead of just pasting in a chapter, start by saying, this book is for business owners who want to publish a book to grow their authority. They are busy, practical, and need actionable advice. Now, when AI says this section is too theoretical, you know it's pointing out something that really matters for your readers potentially. And without providing the details on your audience, you'll just get really vague editing notes that really don't move the needle or that can confuse you as the author of, okay, what am I going to change? What am I going to do with this feedback? So the one trick I like to use is break down the prompts into bullet points after I've given my audience details to the AI tool. So for example, I might write some bullet points as, does my argument flow logically from point to point, or from the beginning of the chapter to the end of the chapter? Where does the pacing slow down? What examples should or could I add to connect with the readers even further? And where might readers get confused or lose interest? Now that checklist turns AI from a generic editor into a focused one. But let's look at the reality of this. AI can give you a huge amount of feedback, and it can become overwhelming. So here's how I like to handle it and how I work with the authors I work with on how to handle feedback from AI. First is you prioritize one thing at a time. If AI gives me notes on clarity, pacing, and examples, I'll tackle the clarity first. Then I'll go back, rerun the chapter, and ask, did this revision improve the clarity? Second, I treat it like a dialogue. Don't take the first response as the best response. Ask follow-up questions. For example, can you give me an example of how to rewrite this section for clarity? Now, I will say be careful here because oftentimes you'll be like, oh, that's it. And you'll put it into your manuscript and you'll see, oh, this doesn't really flow with my voice. And that's why you can prompt it even further to rewrite it and compare it against your voice. And then go in and edit it to match your voice if you like how it rewrote parts of it. But be mindful that you don't use this for your entire book because you will. And third, keep your voice. If a suggestion doesn't sound like you, skip it. AI is an assistant and they're not your co-author. You know your book, you have the human touch. And the final thing I'll say with that is make sure you're utilizing beta readers and those who can read the book and give feedback. If they're giving similar feedback that AI gave, great. You know that the prompts and the way you're directing AI is going to be helpful as you go through the rest of your book. If you're nodding along to this and thinking, wow, yeah, this really could save me hours of editing and frustration, well, head to juxtabook.com and schedule a free consultation or check out our free resources and blogs further on this subject. If we hop on a call, I'll walk you through how to set up your prompts and your editing workflow so you're not stuck staring at messy drafts. And here's the takeaway. Remember that chapter I thought was fine? Well, after laying in real-world stories based on the AI feedback, it became one of the most engaging sections and helped me chop down on the word count of my book so that I could say it clear and more directly with more value to my audience. Now that's the power of using AI as your developmental editor. It sharpens your draft while you stay in control of the voice and message of your book. So if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review if you haven't already. It helps us get the message out to further authors about how we can help them and what they can do to make their book better and their author dreams come true. Thank you for listening today. Keep writing, keep building your platform and your brand, and go out there, market, and connect with those who will be impacted by your book.